Welcome to our U.S. briefing show. Today, we kick off with a dramatic escape from Arkansas. A convicted murderer, known as the Devil in the Ozarks, managed to disguise himself as law enforcement and flee from prison, sparking a massive manhunt in the rugged Ozark Mountains. Talk about a real-life thriller. Next, we head to Gaza, where a new aid distribution operation is causing quite a stir. Managed by a controversial charity linked to American and Israeli interests, this effort is criticized for politicizing aid and risking international humanitarian standards. The chaos and questions surrounding transparency have everyone talking. Finally, in a surprising twist in American politics, former reality TV stars Todd and Julie Chrisley are reportedly set to receive presidential pardons from Donald Trump, despite their hefty sentences for tax evasion and bank fraud. The move has sparked debates about justice and political favoritism. Please continue to watch for more details. The Associated Press paints a vivid picture of Arkansas's rugged Ozark Mountains as the backdrop for a tense manhunt, spotlighting Grant Hardin, a notorious figure known as the Devil in the Ozarks. Once a police chief in Gateway, Hardin's dark past is steeped in violence. He was convicted of murder and rape, with DNA evidence linking him to a 1997 assault and a 2017 murder of a local water department employee. His escape from the North Central Unit Prison, achieved by disguising himself in law enforcement attire, has ignited a frantic search involving drones, helicopters, and canine units, as authorities grapple with the treacherous terrain and the possibility of aid from unseen accomplices. The story is punctuated by chilling footage of Hardin's last moments inside the prison, the community's shock, and the HBO documentary Devil in the Ozarks, which revealed Hardin's violent history and the simmering resentment that culminated in the deadly shooting of James Appleton, a water department worker. The investigation continues as officials peel back layers of Hardin's past, seeking clues about his daring escape and whether he had any help, all while the rugged landscape and heavy rain hinder the relentless search. Meanwhile, the ABC reports a starkly contrasting scene in Gaza, where thousands of desperate Palestinians surge into a newly established aid compound amid the ongoing Israeli blockade. This aid distribution, orchestrated by a mysterious American contractor called GHF, marks a break from traditional international agencies, stirring controversy and outrage among humanitarian groups. The organization, backed by undisclosed funding and recruiting combat veterans, has set up 4 hubs to deliver essentials like food, water, and hygiene kits, yet their operations are shadowed by suspicion. The scene is chaotic, with crowds rushing to secure limited supplies, highlighting the dire humanitarian crisis in Gaza after weeks of blockade. Critics condemn the plan's militarized approach, warning it undermines established principles of impartial aid and could set a dangerous precedent for future conflicts. The story underscores the complex geopolitics at play, with the U.S. government and Israeli officials offering conflicting narratives about aid delivery and funding, while aid groups demand transparency and adherence to humanitarian principles amid the chaos and uncertainty. In a striking turn of events, the ABC also details President Donald Trump's announcement of pardons for Todd and Julie Chrisley, reality TV stars convicted of bank fraud and tax evasion. The couple, famous for their show Chrisley Knows Best, was handed lengthy sentences after being found guilty of conspiring to defraud banks of over $30 million through false documents, and for hiding their earnings to evade taxes. Trump's pledge to pardon them, promising they would be free and clean, fits into his broader pattern of granting clemency to high-profile supporters and allies amid his ongoing legal battles. The couple's legal ordeal is portrayed as a miscarriage of justice, with their lawyer claiming political bias and constitutional violations tainted their prosecution. Their story, intertwined with political rhetoric and media spectacle, echoes the larger narrative of a deeply polarized nation where justice and influence collide, and where the power of the presidency is wielded to reshape the fates of controversial figures. The Al Jazeera article vividly depicts a tense exchange of rhetoric between Russia and the United States, highlighting the escalating war of words amid the ongoing Ukraine conflict. Dmitry Medvedev, a prominent figure in Russia's security hierarchy and a staunch Putin ally, sharply rebukes former U.S. President Donald Trump's warnings about Putin playing with fire, starkly warning that such language could lead to World War III. Medvedev's words underscore the dangerous brinkmanship that characterizes the current geopolitical climate, with Russia's top officials openly contemplating nuclear confrontation, echoing Putin's own warnings about the devastating potential of Western interference. This verbal sparring reflects a broader atmosphere of heightened tensions, where diplomatic signals are intertwined with threats of nuclear escalation, illustrating how the war in Ukraine has transformed into a battleground of not just physical conflict but also fierce ideological and rhetorical clashes. Meanwhile, the situation in Gaza remains fraught with violence and controversy, as reported by Al Jazeera. The scene at a Gaza aid distribution site in Rafah turned deadly when Israeli military forces opened fire on crowds rushing for aid, resulting in multiple Palestinian casualties and injuries. The incident has ignited international outrage, with the UN condemning the violence as a deliberate massacre and war crime, criticizing Israel's handling of the humanitarian crisis. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the U.S. government defended the military's actions, framing the chaos as a temporary disruption and emphasizing the ongoing effort to deliver aid amidst a complex and hostile environment. Humanitarian groups, however, have condemned the approach as inadequate and potentially harmful, arguing that the aid distribution is being manipulated by military and political agendas, ultimately exacerbating the suffering of Gaza's already besieged population. This tragic episode underscores the brutal realities of the conflict, where attempts at humanitarian assistance are often overshadowed by violence and strategic interests. Finally, the Associated Press reports on Hawaii's innovative response to climate change, as the state adopts a new hotel tax to fund resilience projects. Governor Josh Green's legislation increases taxes on hotel stays and cruise bills, aiming to generate nearly $100 million annually to combat the effects of rising sea levels, wildfires, and other climate-related disasters. This pioneering measure reflects Hawaii's recognition of the urgent need for proactive environmental strategies, especially in the wake of devastating events like the Maui wildfire that destroyed Lahaina. The funds will be directed toward critical initiatives such as shoreline replenishment, fire prevention, and habitat preservation, with the broader goal of safeguarding Hawaii's natural beauty and tourism-dependent economy. The law also signifies a broader shift toward sustainable tourism and climate resilience, emphasizing that tackling climate change requires innovative and collaborative efforts, even as the state's high taxes continue to shape the visitor experience. This bold step illustrates how local governments are increasingly taking responsibility for climate adaptation, blending economic and environmental priorities to secure a sustainable future. According to Al Jazeera, SpaceX's Starship test flight, a venture driven by billionaire Elon Musk's ambitious goal of colonizing Mars, ended in disaster when control was lost just 30 minutes after launch. The uncrewed rocket, which had surpassed previous failures by flying further into space, experienced an onboard leak that caused uncontrollable spinning and forced an early re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. SpaceX described the incident as a rapid unscheduled disassembly, emphasizing that each test provides valuable lessons to improve Starship's reliability. Musk's relentless investment, amounting to billions of dollars, underscores his vision of making humanity a multi-planetary species, despite setbacks like the recent explosion shortly after takeoff on March 6 and the FAA's temporary flight restrictions due to debris fallout. In a tragic case reported by the Associated Press, a Brooklyn drug dealer was sentenced to 19 years in federal prison for providing fentanyl-laced heroin that resulted in the death of Cecilia Gentili, a prominent transgender activist and advocate for sex workers and HIV-positive individuals. Prosecutors revealed that Michael Kuelin, with a history of heroin-related felonies, supplied drugs to his co-defendant, Antonio Venti, who sold them to Gentili. She was found dead from a mixture of fentanyl, heroin, xylazine, and cocaine just a day after purchasing the drugs, highlighting the deadly consequences of the opioid crisis. Gentili's life, marked by activism and acting in the series Pose, was celebrated at her funeral at St. Patrick's Cathedral, which drew controversy from some Catholic community members, reflecting the profound impact she had on her community and the ongoing struggle surrounding drug addiction and social justice. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Got a book so big and bright, open it and take a flight. Learn about the stars and see, everything is here for me. facts and fun all day. From A to Z, let's see. Curious minds run free. Jump into the pages deep. Secrets that you want to keep. Time will fly and you will find magic lies in every line. Animals and history. Science full of mystery. Gotta read and gotta know. Watch our minds all start to grow. Encyclopedia, yay. Facts and fun all day. From A to Z, let's see. Curious minds run free, yeah. Jump into the pages deep. Secrets that you want to keep. Time will fly and you will find magic lies in every line. To run free line. Every line's run free. Animals and history. Science full of mystery.